Hey everyone and welcome back. If you're just starting out Photoshop, you may not have experienced this yet, but as an advanced user, you may have found yourself applying the same effects over and over again to multiple photos before asking yourself there has to be a better way, right? Well, of course there is. This video is going to introduce you to the world of actions, a feature in Photoshop that records your steps, allowing you to play them back on additional documents. Actions can be very useful on a variety of projects, from photo effects to adding watermarks, and new in CS6, you can now use actions to record certain tools such as brushes, perfect for artists who might want to record their sketches. Let's start with the basics. Now that you know what an action is, where do you find them? If you don't see your actions panel on the right side of your workspace, under the window menu at the top, clicking on actions will activate your panel. Now that that's visible, you might notice that Photoshop comes with a few example actions ready to use out of the box, but we're going to ignore those for now as we're looking to create our own action. The bottom of this panel contains a few buttons that you should get familiar with, although just by looking at them, you should be able to guess what each of them do. Stop, record, play, new set, new action, and delete. To begin your new action, press the new action button and enter a name. For this action, we're going to be creating a vintage style look for our photos, so I'll simply name this Vintage Photo. Once you press the record button, Photoshop will start to take note of most of your steps. By default, tools like brushes are not recorded in your action, but in a future video, I'm going to show you exactly how you can do that. Now that our action is recording, which is indicated by the red record button, we can start our edit. To ensure that our effect can be edited after it's been applied, I'm going to make sure to use adjustment layers. You'll notice that once I've added the first adjustment layer, the step is recorded as part of my action. I'm going to decrease the contrast with legacy behavior turned on, which will help wash out the photo a touch. -35 should do the trick. Next, let's add a gradient map. Photoshop CS6 comes with some really nice new gradients, which are hidden by default. In the gradient picker, clicking on the gear icon at the top right and then clicking on the photographic toning set will allow you to add these fantastic gradients to your list. These are incredible gradients. I'm going to go ahead and select this one right here, which gives my photo a nice effect. But to blend it in a touch, I'm going to also change the blending mode to hard light. That looks pretty nice, and if you've been keeping an eye on the actions panel, you've probably been noticing that each step I've taken has been recorded. Let's add one more effect. Selecting the original background layer, I'm going to make sure to convert it for smart filters, and then I'm going to add a noise filter with a percentage of around 5. That should give us a subtle graininess to our photo, and because it was converted for smart filters, the noise can be edited at any point in the future. Good, I think that'll do it for this effect. Of course, you're free to add as many adjustments as you need. To stop the recording, simply press the stop button. So now that the action has been recorded and saved, now what? Let's hop over to another photo. You're going to notice that even when you switch to another document, your actions will always be there for you. So all you need to do to apply the effect that we just created to another photo is select the base action and press the play button at the bottom. It's that simple. Let's do one more. Again, making sure the action is selected, pressing the play button will apply that effect. Another thing to note is that by expanding your action, all steps you took to create that action are available not only to view, but delete, rearrange, or record if necessary. As an example, if you decide at a later point that you prefer to use levels instead of brightness and contrast, you can easily delete the brightness and contrast step, and then by pressing the record button, you can add the levels adjustment layer instead. This saves you the hassle of re-recording the whole action from scratch. So if you're someone who constantly applies the same effects to many photos using Photoshop, and you don't use actions, it might be a good idea to start. And don't worry too much if you think you might want to tweak the effect later on. As long as you use adjustment layers, you can always go back and make minor adjustments. In the next video, we're going to take a look at how you can use actions to apply watermarks to your photos, including a way to watermark a lot of photos at once. We'll see you soon.